Prize Picks, run your game when you want.
Guys, the defense, we'll get to Dustin Hopkins because he's part of the loss too, but we also haven't talked about the defense. The defense has, for the most part this year, been terrible. Certainly hasn't been anywhere close to what it was last year. They essentially ran it back with the exact same roster. Right now, JOK has been hurt and has missed games, but they were playing poorly even before he got hurt. It's the same defensive coordinator, most of the same players, certainly all the key same players, and a defense that was top 5 in all of these categories, except for, I think, the takeaways last year, is near the bottom in all of these categories. It's been bad. And by the way, they still have to play Patrick Mahomes. I know he hasn't been as great traditional statistics-wise this year. You still got to play the Steelers again, whose offense was good this past week. You still have to play the Bengals. You know that game will probably be a shootout, even though it wasn't the last time. And the Ravens still. And Miami, who's better with Tua, although they're not playing great. So I don't think those numbers are getting any better anytime soon.
The Ravens, that's not a rest everyone, we've clinched a spot game either. They could be fighting for playoff seeding.
Right.
So.
The Steelers are in first place right now, so we don't know. It's unlikely the Ravens are locked into a spot going into that last week. So, guys, what do we make, if you want to talk just about yesterday's game, fine, but just a big picture. How is it? I know defenses can be up and down from year to year, but this is pretty stark difference from a defense that looked for a lot of the year historically good to a defense that's been, at best below average this year. What do we make of that? How do you explain it?
The first thing,
go ahead.
You guys can chime in, but the number one thing has been the injury to JOK. Has been. I mean, I know they were.
But they already were not playing that well before him.
That point as well. But that made things exceptionally worse.
Yeah.
Because he's the best player on your defense and pretty much did everything for you.
Best player on your defense?
I mean, okay.
Besides Miles
I think he's the most important player on defense.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I said that before. You guys, it wasn't a hot take. I said that week one.
I think JOK, like, he's not lying and tripping.
Miles is your best player talent-wise on defense, but I think that he's more important.
I mean, that dude, he allowed you to do certain things that makes the defense elevate.
He's
like
a green dot guy, man.
You can't block him. He's running around people. He's sideline to sideline. He's explosive. He's a guy that he's just a mismatch. I think what happened to the Browns is Jim Schwartz got figured out, man. They figured all that out. They figured it out.
I mean, the guy's been successful.
Wait a minute.
We're just going to fire the coach every time the defense plays badly?
No, I didn't say fire him.
Jay was on our text group saying they got to fire Schwartz.
I mean, they figured out that certain people was liabilities. Like when you run in man coverage and you got one of your top corners that run like a run-stopping lineman, he play like move him to bandit or something to make a position for Mark Emerson. This dude, man, did you see how? I mean, these is regular crossing routes, and he's just trailing, just chugging along. Oh, I'm gonna get him. No, you're not. You're not catching him.
Wait a minute, though. This is the thing. So
you can't even breathe right now.
Stop this.
Tyvis. Y'all DBs know. Y'all know when y'all out of the gas. Y'all start running with your whole upper body.
It's the head. Once the head go all the way back, that's you giving it everything you got.
You out of here.
What I think it is, though, honestly, I think that when you look at why they were so dominant last year, it's because they were a really good man-to-man team. It simplified a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you were able to get home with 4. You had guys on the D-line that was really getting some good penetration in there and that was really causing some havoc in the pocket. I think you don't have that like that anymore this year. And I think the man-to-man, outside of Denzel and a couple of times G-New, the man-to-man thing is not what it was. It's just not. So what's happening is forcing them to play zone.
Right.
And you know how I feel about the Browns secondary and zone. Like that's just, for some odd reason, that's just not what they're good at right now. And I think that's what's allowing them to have some of these big plays. to where last year you didn't have to worry about those guys because the man-to-man defense was so good that somebody was there to make a play on the ball. And right now, that's just not the case. So it's forcing them to play more zone. And Bo Nix first of all, Bo Nix in zone, or scrambling quarterback in zone. Like, if you can move around and maneuver the pocket and buy yourself some time, somebody eventually is going to get open. And Bo Nix did a really good job of doing that. I mean, he threw some peel. That one touchdown to Mills was a peel. Yeah. Oh, my God.
I mean, he only completed 51% of his passes. There was a stretch. There was a stretch of time in the game where he wasn't playing that well. He had a bunch of incompletions in a row.
And then he threw that 97-yard. I'm like, man.
That was a dime.
And for me, I just look at it.
I think they was in zone. It looked like they was in like an inverted cover.
Yeah, and he just was like, no, you're not going to get to this football. I'm going to throw it right over here. I think they need better talent too. I'm just, I'm looking. I was watching the Eagles' defensive line. I'm like, man, Carter's good. I'm watching some of these other people. They got multiple. We got guys.
Look at the Broncos last night.
Yeah,
they have a bunch of guys
that
make plays.
We don't even got them same body type guys.
No,
we got Maurice Hurst and Shelby Harris now.
Right.
Like, I need somebody.
We need some white corners, man.
Yeah.
You see Cooper DeJean?
Cooper DeJean is out here looking like he want to be like. He wants to be.
He's gonna like make Seahorn a name of the past.
Yeah,
bro.
like he's balling. I think too. Like you said, this is a really big point. We came back and we basically ran it back. Like we didn't add anybody.
Yeah.
Then you take a look at what's the defensive ends? Alex Wright out for the year.
Yeah. Ogbo's done nothing.
Oh, let me tell you about this. Ogbo, I've been spot shadowing you. You know Zadarius Smith ain't here. I've been spot shadowing you on these. You be loafing a little bit, man. These backside plays where I'm like, you know how it is. They tag off on the rabbit when you're doing tag off on the rabbit. You ain't tagging off.
The whole front seven guys outside of Myles Garrett, and with JOK hurt, it seems like there's no impact plays from the front seven.
Don't you like just know good defense when you see it?
Yep.
And like last year, the way the team like flew around to the football,
yes.
the way that it was
energy.
Great.
Yeah.
There's an aura, there's an energy, whatever you want to call it. You know it, you sense it, you feel it. With good defenses, you know that. And you also know when you're I feel like sometimes watching the Browns defense, we're watching like the old Big 12 defenses back in the day, like when RG3 was playing against these cats.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like. And you're just kind of getting pushed around a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're soft.
Yeah.
I think somehow they got a little bit soft this offseason. They're way better at celebrating than they are tackling.
The celebrating, I mean, I can't
like Denzel Ward did a great job, breaks up the pass, it's up in the air.
Yeah.
He's doing this like arm thing. The play's not over. Like your dude intercepted the ball. He's doing this. Like, go block somebody.
Get to the near sideline.
Yeah.
Go block somebody. Get
a hand on a head.
The celebration thing is coached though. That's what
you're a decade younger than me.
Jim Schwartz said that's what he wants.
Okay.
You get in trouble if you don't.
That's
what he said. It's on record.
But here's the great thing about it though. Why is it that like you gonna say that on record outwardly, but you not gonna say outwardly, hey, if I'm gonna tell you to celebrate like that, I'm also gonna tell you, hey, you missed these tackles.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
a wrap.
I had coaches.
I think they don't want to. They don't want to do the.
I don't understand celebrating on first down. You force a turnover. I get the celebration.
Ain't it the good with the bad though, Tyvis?
I
just saw Chip Kelly go. Not Chip Kelly. I saw what's the name? Coach for LSU.
Brian Kelly.
I saw Brian Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
He talking to these dudes like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, you uncoachable.
You are uncoachable.
You are uncoachable, bro.
I think it's one of those things that people don't want. Coaches don't want to embarrass players in public.
You think that's good or bad? Because we come from an era where we all got embarrassed.
Wait a minute, I'm about to say it. You got to remember who you talking to.
We
now.
got embarrassed.
I can handle that, but like. Some people will look at it like, how you gonna do me like that? Like,
they get emotional?
Yeah, like
Mike Tomlin does that. He's not afraid to yell at a guy when he
I was just gonna make the point.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin would have the interception that Newsome had.
Yeah.
As like Ward is doing the celebration during the play.
Yeah.
Tomlin would have in the meeting got the whole team in there and he would have rewound it. back and forth, and it'd been like this, and it'd been the arm back and the arm forward. He'd be like, see, you could be blocking somebody right now. Like that's Tommy don't mess around, man.
I feel like I did that.
This is not exclusive.
Who did I do that to? Oh, it was on the G New touchdown. I said I put him right in the meat room and just keep rewinding.
Just forward, rewind. Slow rewind. Why are you doing this?
He want to get paid. Though. It's a guy right here.
He wants to get paid. See him right here? Yeah, he wants to get paid.
I don't understand. I especially don't understand, like, defense has been bad. You make a play on first down, you, like, make a tackle. Guys now, the craziest thing now is the rare huge hits, because you don't see them much anymore. The rare huge hits, guys dance as if they just won the Super Bowl.
They be going crazy.
Even if the guy got 12 yards on him, they celebrate the big hit. I don't understand.
Can I ask a question to a younger DB than me? What is this, a seatbelt thing, a sword thing?
That's a seatbelt. Strapped.
See, no one knows what it is.
I'm strapped up. Seatbelt.
Okay,
locked.
so let me ask you this.
You done?
But they're not.
When a guy is in, like, I'm covering Tyvis, okay, and the ball's thrown and it hits you in the hands and you drop it, and I'm a DB, and the guy drops it and I go, bam!
Didn't do shit. That's 100% true. There was a play last night where the receiver just dropped the ball. And I think it was Jordan Hicks celebrated as if he made a play. He didn't do anything. The guy dropped the ball.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't agree with that. Like I'm with you on that. Unless I put my hand on it or I physically touch the ball, like I wouldn't do this.
And I'll tell you something else I hate.
I'm not one of those people that did that. Like
I'll tell you something else I hate. All teams do this. This is not just the Browns. Every team does this. This whole idea when we get a turnover that we have to run to the end zone.
Oh yeah,
that's just
get a pick, take a pick. What you mean?
Thank you for that.
Right.
Hey, by the way,
get a pick, take a pick. You ain't like the Castanet. Y'all ain't like the Castanet celebration?
No, I don't like any of that.
Y'all don't even know who Castanet is.
Before you sprint your dumb ass to the end zone to take a picture,
make sure
there's no flag.
There it is.
Jeez, make sure there's no flag.
It was week 2 or 3 when the JOK they did the celebrated dance that didn't count.
And you know what?
It was hard too.
You know what's corny about it is the corny factor is that is a holdover from like 4 or 5 years ago where they said you can't celebrate individually, but you can do anything that you want with your team. So people was like unoriginal.
Wait a minute.
And basically was like, let's just take a team picture and run to the opposite end. And
y'all not about to sit here and do this.
Now all of a sudden it's still here?
Nah, we going to dip this in the bud right now. You mean to tell me that if y'all was actively playing right now, somebody got to pick, y'all wouldn't run to the end zone and take the pick?
Of course I would.
So what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I would be in the stands.
So what's the problem?
I take my pads off.
I'm confused. When there's a flag on the field.
I mean, you don't know that it's a flag on the field.
And let's not celebrate. Again, stop celebrating on first down.
Right.
Stop it.
What do you mean stop celebrating on first down?
Right. If you make a tackle on first down.
Is it a TFL?
No.
I don't care what it is.
If you get off the field,
you
can celebrate.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't like any of that.
Nobody celebrating off a second if it's second and six.
They celebrate.
Yes, they do.
No, they are not. Y'all
celebrate every 2 seconds.
Y'all over-exaggerating.
From now on, every time I win an argument, I'm going to dance. I should dance. That's what I do.
Like my son. Every time he does anything good in life, he's
Yeah.
the gritty.
That's it.
What are you doing?
Y'all,
That's what I'm doing.
You three are
He's like that.
I'm going to be honest with you.
He's like, man, I got 2 red airheads in a row.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all sound like senior citizens up here right now. This is sad.
I'm surprised G. Bush is with us.
I can't believe y'all acting like this.
You got it.
And then, especially y'all two.
Hey.
Y'all play defense.
But you got
you got to bring your own. You know how demoralizing it is to celebrate on somebody.
Denzel celebrated last week.
The plays like the
Oh my God.
he did have the oxygen after that.
I'll say this: I played in Denver one time. You played in Denver?
I was on Denver's team for like 6 weeks.
That's right. So you were in Denver, so you know that.
Hey, Dustin, your mic fell off. Put your
Gosh,
mic
dog, man, I'm getting
Mike fell off.
getting too animated today.
He was like I'm cooking.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, then we'll move on to Jerry Judy real quick.
Yeah.
Because Earl and I disagreed on the postgame show last night on this. I said the defense did not do enough to allow the Browns to win that football game last night. They had 5 scoring drives of 60-plus yards. Earl disagreed and said the defense did enough. They forced 2 turnovers. Where do you guys fall on that?
I love Earl, but he couldn't be more lost on this. The defense was lousy. They did not do enough. The only if the defense had played well, then it would have never come down to Jameis throwing picks because he would have been throwing the ball. They would, Like, no, the defense was terrible last night.
So I was watching. I was watching.
Terrible.
I was watching the other day a hostage negotiator.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And this hostage negotiator was like, "Here's why people rationalize things, right?" He's like, "Humans are bad at dealing with grief and bad things happening all at once." So what happens is, you got the Cleveland Browns, and instead of you being like, "You know what? We ain't got a quarterback. I don't know if Andrew Berry can pick players. Man, Kevin Stefanski, man, we 3-8. Offensive line can't run the football. Nick Chubb, I wonder if Nick Chubb is even ready to go, man. He looked like an old guy. Man, all we got is Myles Garrett? Man, I ain't seen Myles Garrett today. Is Jim Short's defense figured out? Man, we can't hit no field goals. Dustin Hopkins." You start going down all of those avenues, and you know what you do? You got to rationalize some of them. You can't call out everything. So if you know Deshaun Watson and the quarterback situation is crazy, you don't know about the front office, the team's trying to move stadiums and all that good stuff, guess what happens? You be like, I'm going to pick one of these things and I'm going to not freak out about it. So this is the most easy thing not to freak out about. And it's easy to say, well, you know what? Defense got a couple turnovers. I'm not going to kill the defense for it because you understand that you got to kill all the rest of the stuff that you see. Instead of being like, yeah, that was trash too. You got to hold on to something. And if you notice, when people be talking about these Browns losses, the first thing that they'll say is, well, listen, I mean, the defense wasn't crazy good. But I'm just saying, we played well enough to win.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? That's the biggest rationalization I've ever heard in my life.
What's funny, G, is
You know what that means.
What does that mean?
Early in the season, people were blaming Watson for the defense.
Yes,
which
it was
plenty
Watson
to blame Watson for. And yes, when you feel like your quarterback can't play, sure, it's harder on the defense. But you couldn't put it all on the defense. And now you can't blame Jameis for the defense.
So now what you gonna say?
Yeah.
You can't blame Stefanski for it.
What are you talking about?
So when the defense plays bad, right?
You want to know how you can nip this in the bud?
What?
What was the final score?
41-32.
41-32.
Take 14 points off the board. What's the score?
Hold on, Tyvis. You know, you've been in defensive rooms. You know, you've been in. No, ain't no mic drop. You know what?
That's called playing good enough to win a game.
No. It ain't called good enough to win a game.
You take. He threw 2 pick sixes. What?
Hey, guess what?
Win.
You had a
Shut up.
you had a chance with the lead in the fourth quarter, and you let a rookie walk his so-and-so right down the field and score points and take the lead back. As a defense, you take pride in saying, we got the lead, we on the road, it's where we make our mark right here. We need a turnover. We need a stop.
Still gave up,
and they gave up.
I don't disagree.
Down the field.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. What you're saying is 100% correct.
Even without the pick sixes, the defense gave up 27. You give up 27 a game, you're going to lose most games. No?
Yeah.
Okay, so the defense played lousy.
At the end of the day, what was the final score again, McNuggets?
42-30. 41-32.
If they
Take minus 14 off 41, what you get?
If you get a stop right there, right there,
32-27.
You win the
you
football
did
game.
enough to win the game.
No. If you get a stop,
I agree with you.
You can win the game.
No. I agree with you. When people say, did the defense do enough to win the game? That's what I'm saying.
They did not.
Yes, they did.
They were terrible.
They allowed their offense to score more than Denver's did.
Bro, you played for Urban Meyer and you played for Tressel.
Listen, I'm just saying.
When y'all got in there, did we win or did we lose?
Now, what you're saying about the fact that you was up and you had a chance to seal the deal.
That's it.
You need to get off the field. 1,000%.
And by the way,
1,000%.
We don't know if it weren't for the pick sixes, then the Broncos would have gotten the ball back in these situations. They might have scored anyway. Like, you have no idea what if it wasn't for those, how the game would have gone the rest of the way.
And plus, McNuggets, let me just say this. The defense, we talk about knowing what Jameis Winston is and what he ain't. Them dudes over there know what Jameis Winston is and ain't on defense. And they say, if I'm over there, we huddling up and we cannot, listen, we let these dudes go down and score. We can't get this ball back to Jameis. You know what it is. It's a 60% chance that's a pick. we better go and shut these boys out. Like, you know you can't count on that.
All I'm saying is, I'm not entirely blaming the defense on this. They do have a large portion because they're not who they were last year. And I told y'all when they ran it back, I wasn't a fan of running it back. You got to switch things up. I just don't like it.
Let's celebrate, Tyvis. We said the defense wasn't going to be as good this year. Yeah.